Hello there, welcome back to Cinema Flicks Music Picks. I'm Davey, your host with the most, the beast with the least. Well, the absolute least we can do today, and believe me, it is the least. It is Scorchio today. I am sweating like a pregnant nun. Is a review of the brand new Super Deluxe edition of Good to Be Bad, the 2008 album from Whitesnake. Essentially a kind of comeback album, because although they'd made Restless Heart in 97, that was never supposed to be a Whitesnake album. So really it was the first Whitesnake album, kinda, sorta, in 19 years. So the first one that was intended to be a Whitesnake album rather than a David Coverdale solo album. So we'll go into it. So when this was announced, and first of all, thank you to the good folks at Rhino for sending this on. When this was announced, the press release seemed rather pleased with itself with the still good to be bad. And I thought, that's funny, it rings a bell, still good to be bad. Isn't that what it was called anyway? And then I checked and said, no, it was called Good to Be Bad. And I went and checked my Whitesnake shelf. Well, it's a shelf that's got Whitesnake stuff on it. It's not a whole shelf of Whitesnake. And sure enough, from 2011 is Still Good to Be Bad. Yeah, they've already done this as a deluxe edition, as a CD DVD set, with the 15-track version of the album. Exactly the same. But obviously this is a remix. The bonus DVD, all of which is replicated in this new one, as well as more. So this, So, rather than moan about that, because that's a somewhat silly thing to moan about, because I didn't pay for this, we'll go into it. So, Good to Be Bad. First of all, they always do a lovely job with the actual presentation of these. I mean, you can see some behind me. You can see Restless Heart shining up the joint here. It's got a mirror you can shave on that, and then the box of snakes behind me. The album itself. So you get, well, first of all, you get the belly band. The album itself is remixed on disc 1. On disc 2, you get a 2023 remaster of the 2008 version. So, just like these other editions, you get the remix and then you get the remaster. So, new version, old version, but tarted up. And then on CD3, alternate remixes and versions. CD4, always my favourite of these sets, Evolutions. We'll go into that. And disc 5, Blu-ray, music videos, Foreplay Live, and Cutting Room New York, which again was on that CD, that there CD DVD set that I just showed you, as well as a slideshow of Summer Rain Unzipped, which is also on that. So we're starting to repeat ourselves a little bit in places here for the completist, but it was always going to be the case if they started doing this era of Whitesnake, because this was the era, 2008, where you are starting to get the Japanese bonus track version more and more. You are starting to get, the iTunes exclusive tracks. Even though it's 15 years old, we're already into that digital era for music, very much so. So let's have a look. The ribbon. The ribbon always tells you it's a touch of class. I dropped all this earlier, I'm hoping there's no dings in it. Now, as always, you get an absolutely gorgeous book, hardback. Good to be bad, bad to the bone. Copyright George Thorogood. So your hardback book, which I won't go through absolutely everything, but as usual here, takes in the story of the album, the process, behind the scenes stuff, some of the things that they probably, DC didn't want us to know behind the scenes in 2008, but he's quite happy to let us know now. Time has passed and whatnot. Had a good read of this earlier. It's obviously not as informative as these kind of sets, because it's 2008, the story's not quite as interesting. If anything particularly big happened to Whitesnake in 2008, it was just on the internet. It's not as if it would have been hushed up or anything. We were already well into that kind of era. Let's look a bit quicker. Then all the lyrics, all the contents, and then as usual, magazine covers. And usually get international versions of the albums and whatnot that I've probably skipped over. So tour dates usually. Yep, tour of 2009. Because they toured it the next year, it wasn't toured in 2008. So yeah, so that gives you an idea of the quality of the book. And then, as we always say, it's only deluxe if you get a postcard or poster. And you get, don't even know why I'm showing you this because it's exactly the same as the cover art, but poster. Nice and big. I'm sure everyone's going to have the 2008 Whitesnake album poster on their wall. What's really cool, you always get a programme from the relevant tour for every one of these sets. So here's the 78 to 2009 tour book. So world tour for the ostensible 30th anniversary. So the album band were the same as the touring band. Doug Aldrich on guitar. Red Beach on second guitar. He's gone up now. Timothy Drury on keys. Tim Drury. Uriah Duffy on bass. And Chris Frazier on drums, who is now in Foreigner, I believe. And as you imagine, it's only 2009, so we know what a modern programme looks like. Less detail than it used to be, and just a lot of promo shots, to be honest. In fact, some of these are in the book as well. So, yeah. But they do all get their individual page, which is nice. Band shot in the middle. There's Reb. Uriah. Look at him. Handsome, debonair chap that is. Timothy, excuse me. And Chris. And then the muchachas, and all the credits for the stuff at the time. And there's even promoting they're promoting the DVD of the Whitesnake Live and the Heart of the City stuff, and the 2-disc deluxe editions of all the albums. Those were the days, before all this. Right, let's go into the discs. They all come in digipacks. I saw someone say digipacks the other day. Get to fuck with that. Digipacks. So this year's 2023 remix. Right. Rather nice. Again, it's funny that this album's in blue because I've only ever owned this version. I've always thought of it as a black album cover. And now it's blue, but I guess it was always blue and I just had that DVD version. The remix. It's not a drastic remix. This is the first time where I've said, actually, the remix and the remaster aren't entirely dissimilar. There's definitely different parts. There's definitely parts that have been added. There's definitely parts that have come to the fore in the remix, but not radically different, because, come on, it's 15 years. It's not as if it's 30 years or more where some of these sets were being really reassessed in the context of modern times. No, this is only 15 years ago. Coverdale's, what is he now, 70 odd, so, it was only 55 there, so it's not as if it's taste, a young man's taste versus an old man's taste. He was already pushing 60 then, so, his ideas aren't radically different. But what I do like is that all of them come in Japanese style rice paper sleeves, which is rather nice, although I've crumpled that one when I stuck it in the player earlier. Sorry DC. So that's still Good to Be Bad, because that's the remixed version. And here's just Good to Be Bad. This isn't in a digipack, this is in a sleevey. So this is the 2023 remaster, and look, I've done a better job putting that one back in. The remaster itself, to be honest, if you're not a major fan of this record, don't go for the tarted up version. I don't think this is for you. This is for the Whitesnake diehards, and this is who they're aiming at. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a much smaller print run than any one of these, to be honest. Alternate remixes and versions. So you get, lay down your love, lay it down on me. My favourite track on the record. Calling Me, All for Love, Good to Be Bad, If You Want Me, with the Hook City horns. You get all sorts of tracks on here that are the same versions musically, but they've added on the rather wonderfully named Hook City Harlots, a female backing chorus. So quite a few have got them on it. Couple of acoustic versions. There's a version of All for Love that's got a different Doug Aldrich solo on it, and again a couple that have got a horn section added. So yeah, alternate versions. Good to be bad, bad to the bone, alternates. And here is your Evolutions disc. This is, if you've ever owned the oh, here they come, whoop whoop, it's the sound of the police. If you'll never get me, and you'll never sell ice cream going that fast. If you've ever owned the Peter Gabriel box set of Soul, then you'll know what the Soul DNA was, where it starts out as a demo and gradually the song builds up as you're listening to it. It's very much what this is. So quite a lot of it starts with just David and Doug Aldrich on guitar, sometimes Reb, I think, and building the track up gradually. So they do the demo, it starts with the demo, and then they add on a little bit of bass from the final version, or a little drum bit, and it builds and builds as you're listening until at the end of the track you're listening to the album version. And that's for every single track on here, because again, we're in 2008, so things are better archived than on, for example, this era here, where they're, it was the 70s, man, the early 80s. Things nobody was thinking of legacy and 50th anniversary box sets back then. And I love that. It looks like a saltire, doesn't it? The flag of Scotland. And then on the Blu-ray, remember my black set? And I said, I've always thought of this as the black album. Why is it all of a sudden blue? Oh, it's always been blue. Well, I was glad to be proven right, not only by walking next door, but hey, the Blu-ray itself is on the black version that I did have for all those years. So the Blu-ray has got the music videos of Ready to Rock, Lay Down Your Love, Best Years, which is probably my second favourite track on it. Best Years of Our Lives. Can You Hear the Wind Blow, Calling Me, All I Want Is You, All for Love, Got What You Need, and those are Purple Snake videos, so those were always intended to be done online. Foreplay Live, so those are kind of highlights from the 2009 European tour, I think. So you get Best Years, Can You Hear the Wind Blow, Lay Down Your Love, Full in Love, and then The Cutting Room, which was all on that old CD DVD set here, but it's all replicated. Has an interview with Eddie Trunk from, well, that metal show I know him from, but he's a big DJ in the States. And then performances in studio with Eddie of Can You Hear the Wind Blow, All I Want, All I Need, and Lay Down Your Love. There's so many versions of Lay Down Your Love. I'm glad it's my favourite track, or I'd be bored by now. And then a slideshow of Summer Rain unzipped, which again was on. Does. Yeah, and then that's the end of the set. So as I put it back together, overall thoughts. You don't need this, folks. You don't need this. But you know what? Here's the iconic Whitesnake 87. You don't need that either. That's only if you like that album. Just out of shot here kind of is slide it in. I mean, this is great because it's got every version of Slide in the UK, the US, the evolutions, DVD of all concert stuff and music videos, blah 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 blah. But it's only for fans anyway. So similarly, yeah, this is a 2008 record, and the fan base is smaller by then because the music industry was smaller and they're a legacy act by this point. But at the same time, the presentation, the attention to detail, and the dedication that's gone into making this set is still 100% top notch. Absolutely top notch. They have not said, oh, okay, it's a 2008 record, we don't really need to put in the effort we did for the classic era stuff. Let's just half-arse this one, eh? We don't need to we'll not even bother doing an Evolutions one, or we won't do a remix. We'll make this a 3-discer and just make the book bigger, put in more photos. No, they've done exactly the same kind of set for this as they have for Restless Heart, Unzipped, Slide It In, 87 and Slip of the Tongue. Every single one of them's got this wonderful treatment. And I think it's great that they're continuing this, because again, nobody's forced to buy any of this stuff. Nobody. Believe it or not, you will see people moaning about, oh, they're just milking the fans. Only if you lined up to be milked. Nobody's making you buy it. If you're happy with your single disc version that you have from 2008, or you're happy with this version, more power to you, because this has got every song that's on the actual album, plus all the bonus tracks, plus a good chunk of the DVD content. So this version alone might be enough for the average to even mildly severe Whitesnake fan. But any massive Whitesnake fan who likes going into the modern era is going to want this. And yeah, I know it's a bit expensive at the moment. I think, I checked it, that's about £70 odd. That is a little bit much, to be honest, for what this is, because I didn't get promos of these ones, and I didn't pay anything near £70 for any one of them. But again, it's economies of scale. They knew that they were going to sell a lot more of the 87 album, so they could probably bring the cost down a little bit, because they knew they were going to sell a lot more. This, yeah, they're not going to sell as much, so they probably are going to have to charge a little bit more to make up for that and make some manufacturing costs back. The album itself, I think, is fantastic. I remember listening to it. Oh, did you hear that? Down the street the dogs are barking, and the day is getting dark. As the night comes in a falling, the dogs will lose their bark. Oh, I thought the dogs would stop barking just as I got to that line. But yeah, in 2008, I remember listening to the new album and saying, oh, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be... Because we didn't have the good Restless Heart at that point, we still had the kind of namby-pamby version. Sorry, DC. Is it going to be... And the minute that I stuck it on and Best Years comes on, it's like, oh yes, this is Whitesnake. Heavy riffing, David's voice, insane, 100% on fire. Yeah, I know he's got issues live and had to stop touring last year because of his voice and his throat and things, but 70. This is 15 years younger, and he's got the ability to do it in the studio. Can you hear the wind blow? Such a catchy song. It's even got little alternate rock parts in it. Sounds very contemporary for 2008. I really like those parts where he pronounces words a little bit almost new metally. It's kind of fun to hear that. Again, Lay Down Your Love, I've mentioned 5-6 times now, is my favourite track. And then you get, I'm not going to go through everything, but All I Need is your first power ballad. That's your first kind of, this is one for the lighters. Call on Me is another. All for Love is another ballad, and that's a straight ballad. But then Summer Rain is a power ballad. Difference. So All for Love, track 6, is very much a low-key ballad, just a tender torch song. But then track 8, Summer Rain, is very much the power ballad, with the guitar histrionics and the slow builds and the Get the lighters out, everybody. We're gonna have a good time. Yeah, everybody's on fire on this record. It's right. There's no point comparing to classic era Whitesnake because you don't have the history with it. Nobody does. It was released too late for that. But for what this is, rather than what it isn't, it's a great record. It's a great listen. It's an absolutely fantastic record. I've always enjoyed this. In fact, I like Evermore. I love the Purple album. I love the modern Whitesnake, man. I really do. I think DC is a cool dude. And yeah. I mean, my favourite era of Whitesnake is the blues rock era. Kind of ends up sliding in, but there's no era that I hate. Even when Steve Vai joins and they go really metallic and a bit too Guitar Hero-y at times, I still love DC's voice. He's DC, and when he's doing some of his vocals on here, you can hear the Coverdale that made Jimmy Page say, yeah, I think he's the guy I want to work with for Coverdale Page. You can hear that voice even 15 years after that record is why Jimmy Page wanted to work with him. So, to me, this is just, this is the ultimate edition of an era of Whitesnake that deserves a bit more respect, in my book. Deserves a bit more respect. And I hope they keep going, because it's a bit cheeky to say I'll keep picking them up. If they keep sending me them, I'll keep picking them up. But yeah, this is massively recommended, but to be honest, if you're one of the target audience already. If you ain't, you know that too. So if you're somebody who checked out with Whitesnake in 89, listened to a few modern things and never came back, it's probably not going to win you round. But if you didn't give it that chance, go online, have a listen to some tracks, have a listen to Lay Down Your Love, have a listen to Best Years, and you might be pleasantly surprised, and you may not find yourself wanting to buy the big box set, but there is a 2-disc version. You might find yourself buying that. Who knows? Or you might find yourself on Discogs just wanting that, or somebody else wants to buy this one off me. I've got no need for it anymore. Anyways, this has been a rather meandering Friday evening edition. I'm kind of having to do this rather quickly because, first of all, as I said at the start, and also I'm heading out in a wee while. Night on the town. We're painting the town blue. I would say red, but it's kind of blue evening. So, as usual, comments, suggestions, complaints down there. Pictures. Send me pictures of your cats. Folks, stay very safe out there. And as always, love and indeed mercy. Catch you next time.